Hello. So, last time I was chatting away, we were talking about what I thought was the best CrossFit program, and obviously this is the best CrossFit program for me, not for everybody. But what I wanted to quickly talk about today was what it is that I think that sets them apart from everybody else, and that is something pretty simple in concept, but probably not simple in delivery for Kriger, and that is the athlete profile test. Now, I'm obviously going to blank out a lot of what's on here so that you guys don't see it, and I'm not giving away any of their stuff for free. But basically what happens, and this is what I think when we talk about programming and training and what really makes a difference for people, it's those little margins that sort of set things apart. And where a lot of the other programs that I talked about the last time had a really good base, the easiest one for me to use because it's the most recent is HWPO. They've got a great base of stuff. They've got all this information. Matt and Jake Marconi and other guys, when I was doing it, were coming on and giving you chats about what they would expect from you from the workout. And that's all great. But what I really think makes a big difference here is when I signed up to Kriger, whether or not this is still the case, I can't say, but I think it probably will be. But when I signed up for Kriger, one of the first things that I got asked to do was sign up and do the athlete profile test. Now, the athlete profile test comprises of somewhere around about like 28, 29, 30 tests or something like that. So it's a big number. They cover strength, Olympic lifting, CrossFit specific stuff, gymnastics, endurance. So all these things get covered off by them. You then get a score, and that score, as I understand it, goes against all the data that they've got. Okay, so everybody that's on the program, everyone they've got the information for, all gets tabulated against that. And then you get 2 sheets back from them. Your user scoring, and then you get a comparison page off the back of that as well. Alongside that, they also give you analysis and feedback, and then the little cherry on the top that, to be totally honest, ends up being like an upside down cake because it's that good, is that you can actually pay to have a call with one of their coaches and talk through this stuff. Now, I don't like to put other things down. I don't like to talk about other things as if they're not as good. But I've not come across a program that is that encompassing without paying for personalised programming. Okay, so that's what I think is absolutely fantastic about it. Now, the other bit as well is, and I'll sort of bring up just a couple of these so that I can try and show you side by side. But if we look at my profile test from last year to this year, and for example, we'll take, just for ease, let's take for ease my endurance. Okay, this is probably one of the easiest ones to pinpoint. So last year when we did the endurance test, I'm going to use a couple of the examples in this. So one of the tests is a 1k row. Now my 1k row is pretty good. Rowing something that I'm strong at. Another one of the tests was a 5k run. I'm not good at running. So when I looked at my 5k run last year and then compared to this year, so when I did the 5k run first time and then came around to doing it the second time, I took like the best part of 1 minute and 40 seconds off of it. Now, that doesn't make a drastic difference in the grand scheme of things, but there's 2 other tests that go in there. Now, my row, it stayed the same. If I'm honest, I didn't retest my row because my score was pretty good for it, and where I was at that time with the training that I was doing, I didn't really want to have to go to that level to push myself, so I didn't redo it, but I did redo the other 2 tests. And the same thing happened with them. I had a huge uplift, but one of the things that they do is they categorise them into quarterfinals results, semi-finals results, games results, open results, all that sort of stuff. My endurance last year, 3 out of the 4 were only open level performance. This year, 2 out of the 4 are quarterfinals performance and 2 out of the 4 are still open performance. Now, I'll probably retest the 5k again soon if I've read the programming correctly. So again, there might be a bump up in that and I might end up doing better. The other one as well, I had a pretty big jump in that. And I was doing that kind of off the back of the quarterfinals. I was still a bit run down. I was still a bit tired. So I was kind of beat up when I was doing it. But what it's told me overall, and this is a bit that I think is quite interesting, is that while these parts are low, my actual overall endurance is still at a good level. Where I don't match up and where I've got a bigger problem is my gymnastics. Now, the odd part of that is that if we look at my open results, I actually performed the best out of my gym against like my peers in the gymnastics workout. So what this kind of starts to tell you is it's not just as simple as I've got a gap here, that's the one I have to plug. There's 100 ways to skin this and get it right. And this is a little bit that I'm saying that's so handy, because if you can get a call with them, they'll talk you through it. They'll give you advice on it. Last year I was told not to squat as much because I had some knee problems. When you look at this and you look at I'm loading it up here just now while I'm talking to you. When you look at this and you look at the scores that are coming up and you look at how that matches up to your performance, you can start to see where the gaps are. And it will tell you at the bottom, they'll have a look at it and say, consider doing such and such. So you might be like, my handstand push-ups are rubbish, so I'm just going to work on handstand push-ups. It might not be as simple as that. It might be all of your pressing. In which case, you don't just have to do handstand push-ups. You go and do dumbbell work, you go and do barbell work, you do seated work, you do standing work, you do handstand work on top of it. But it's not just a case of, it's just pressing out the bottom that's the problem. Do more bench press work. There's 100 different ways that you can bring stuff into this that's going to make it better for you. And that's what you get from this program. And that's why I love it and why I'm so excited to follow it for another year. You'll hear people saying it all the time. You can be a great coach, but if you don't care, it doesn't really matter. And I grew up with my dad being a teacher, and one of the things that he said to me one time that really stuck in my head was, the best teacher wasn't necessarily the person who knew the most. The best teacher was the person that could say the same thing 100 different ways to help one person understand it the way they needed to understand it. And that has stuck with me forever, and that's how I find this program works. You can give everybody all this information that they need. You can give everybody all the programming that they want. Personalised programming takes you to that level where it is 100% about you. But for value for money for what you're getting from this, and when you do this athlete profile test, they give you the information and they talk you through it. So they give you that extra layer to let you go and do the best that you can do with the information you've got. And that to me sets them apart. So I know I talk about them a lot. There's a good reason for it. Like I said, if anyone's interested in finding out more, just drop me a message. I'm more than happy to try and help you out, or I will put you onto them, or I'll send you their links or any of that stuff, and I'll link their program below as well in the description. Next week, probably going to be looking at more of a training vlog. Things have been going pretty well so far. Bit less of me and a bit more of something that might actually be fun to watch. But anyway, if you've enjoyed this, thank you very much for watching. Hit the like button if you have. If you've not already subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. I hope you have a lovely weekend. Bye for now. Well, weekend if it is your weekend. If you're watching it after the weekend, I hope you had a lovely weekend. Bye bye.